If you're one of the people who is thinking about selling their property without help of an agent to save on commissions, make sure you pay attention because this video is going to give you step-by-step instructions on how to do it. Aloha, my name is Robert from listwithrobert.com. Welcome to my channel and beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii. I am a real estate agent and real estate investor from Oahu, Hawaii. If you're stopping by my channel for the first time, please consider subscribing. And now let's get back to video. If you really want to go for sell by own route, I would highly suggest to find out these information prior to marketing your property for sale. Number one, am I selling my primary residence or am I selling an investment property? If you're selling the house you currently live in, where you're gonna go after you sell the property? Are you gonna buy a new property or are you planning to rent a property? Are you moving out of state or not? Another important question to ask is, how long have you owned the property? This can make a huge difference in your profit. If you're selling a house where you lived at least 2 years out of last 5 years, those 2 years, they don't have to be consecutive, you might be able to walk away with tax-free money. If you own the property individually, you might be able to avoid paying taxes on the sale of your property up to $250,000, and if you own the property as a married couple, up to $500,000. And of course, here comes the disclaimer, I am not a CPA and this is not a tax advice. Please make sure to consult with your CPA. When it comes to selling an investment property, you need to know whether you're doing 1031 exchange or you're selling the property completely. Once you gather all the information and answer all the previous questions, it is time for you to do a market research. You need to find all the comparable properties which sold within last 6 months in the same neighborhood like your house. It is a very crucial step. It can help you sell your property fast and for top dollar. When it comes to market research, please make sure you compare apples to apples. And what I mean by that is when your house is 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, about 1,500 square feet with 5,000 square foot lot, make sure you try to find either exact or very close match as far as the square footage of interior space and lot. If you're selling a condominium, you should be looking first for sale in your own building and then expand the search to a neighboring building. This market research should give you a clear understanding of your listing price and how much you can potentially sell your property for. There should be no emotions involved in this process and everything should be solely based on the numbers. I understand that us as a human being, we tend to have emotional attachment to our properties just because we create so many great memories in them. But no buyer is gonna give you more money just because we create these great memories in our places. Now let's get your property ready for sale. Let's use rule of thumb that the prettier your property looks, the higher chances your property is gonna get sold. Number one mistake I see as a real estate agent and someone who works in the industry is that so many sellers are trying to sell a very personalized property. Your property should be very depersonalized. And what I mean by that is that your goal is to make sure that your property appeals to as many people as possible and you don't have to find that one specific buyer with the same taste like you. Number two important thing is to declutter as much as possible. And while you at it, I'm pretty sure you're gonna discover things or two or even more which need to be taken care of as far as the repairs.
Okay.
Consider taking care of most of them or as much of them as possible because those can have very negative impact on the sales price. Make sure you watch this video all the way to the end because I'm gonna give you a list of 3 easy to do home improvements which brings most money to your pocket. Next thing to do after you declutter and depersonalize property is to take pictures. If you're good at taking pictures with your phone or your camera, you can attempt to do it yourself or you can hire a professional. The average cost for 25 pictures is somewhere around $400. Remember, the better property looks on the pictures, the more buzz and attention it's going to generate within the buyers. Once you're done with the pictures, it is finally time to post your property for sale and start marketing. There are many choices where you can post your property for sale, and I'm going to put a list of these websites in the description of this video. Don't forget to add your personal contact information so potential buyers can contact you back and schedule a showing of your property. One thing I wanted to mention is that you might not receive calls just from potential buyers, but also from real estate investors who are looking for a deal, or real estate agents who are looking to bring value to their clients. If you're going to be dealing with real estate agents, be prepared to answer this one question. How much commission are you going to give me when I'm going to bring you a buyer? When sellers sell property through MLS and listing agent, they pay 5 to 6% of commission for sellers and buyers agent combined. That should give you a little bit of guidance how much commission you should be giving out to buyer's agent. If you are not going to give out any commission to the buyer's agent, please be honest and open about it and make sure you communicate it with them, because this is how they make their living. Fast forward all the showings, phone calls, hours of marketing, all your hard work paid off, and you find the right buyer for your property. You need to prepare a written purchase contract to be valid in the state of Hawaii. It should address all the provisions and contingencies of the sale. And here are the provisions your purchase contract should address. Description of the property, purchase price, earnest money deposit, additional deposit, financing contingency, title issues, home inspection, termite inspection, survey report, and closing detail. Most of these are contingencies under which buyers gonna purchase your property. Let's dive deeper into these contingencies. Home inspection. When the house is sold through MLS, traditionally buyer is the one who chooses the home inspector and suggests how much time they need to inspect the property. They are also responsible paying the home inspector for the inspection. This can go anywhere from $300 to $700 per inspection, depending on the size of the property. Termite inspection is a little different. Buyers suggest a company which is going to do termite inspection, and it is up to buyer and seller to agree who's going to pay for it. This can run anywhere from $500 to $700 depending on the size of the property. Remember, if there is a live infestation, you as a seller will be most likely responsible for tenting or treating the house. Next one we're going to take a look at is survey. Traditionally, this is responsibility of seller. Seller hires a survey company or licensed surveyor who comes out to the property, which measures the property and determines the boundaries of the properties, and determines also if there is any encroachment of the neighboring property on your property, or vice versa, your property encroaching on the neighboring property. This report is going to cost you on average anywhere from $800 to $1,400. One of the most important contingencies in the purchase contract is financing contingency. It is crucial for you to work with pre-approved buyer, but be careful, there are two types of pre-approval. One is actually pre-qualifying, where lender issues a letter of pre-qualifying the buyer and they did not review all his documents. They solely relied on the information provided by the buyer. The other type is pre-approval with reviewing all the documents, which includes credit score, debt to income ratio, employment history, and so on. Based on all these documents, then lender issues a pre-approval letter. The other thing you should request from the buyer is verification of cash funds.
Show me the money!
When you and buyer agree on all the terms and purchase price of the property, you both need to sign a purchase contract. This becomes a binding purchase contract, and you can go to any of the escrow companies over here on the island and submit the contract and open escrow. The escrow company is going to take care of the whole transaction on the back end and prepare all the necessary documents to transfer the title from you to the buyer. The most important role of escrow company in the transaction is that at the end of the transaction, when the transaction closes, you as a seller receive the funds from the buyer and buyer receives a clean title to the property. Escrow company charges for their services as well. All of these are put together as a closing cost. Traditionally in Hawaii, buyer pays 40% of closing costs and seller pays 60% of the closing costs. Overall, you can account for about 1% from the purchase price to be your closing cost. So let's say your property sells for $1 million, you can expect that your closing costs will be somewhere around $10,000. Escrow company can also create a timeline of the transaction where all the contingency will be listed along with the due date of the contingency period. When all the contingency are resolved, escrow company sets a closing date, and prior to closing date, you're going to sign all the documents including the deed. Deed is an instrument which transfers title from one person to another. When the closing date comes, you can expect a message or email or phone call from the escrow company announcing the transaction went through and you are officially homeless, but with a lot of money in your bank account. As promised, this is the time when I'm going to be revealing 3 most profitable renovation you can do on your own. Number 1, paint. Fresh paint can do miracles to the property. When choosing a color, make sure you stick to neutral colors which appeals to masses, not just one individual buyer. Number 2, flooring. Lately, one of the most popular flooring type are vinyl planks. Thanks to a variety of finishes and colors, it is very easy to match any paint color. Last but not least, number 3, yard. It is the first thing buyer sees when they walk into your property, and that is your only chance to make a good first impression. This information concludes today's video. If you stuck with me all the way to here, thank you very much for watching. Please hit that like button. Until the next time, aloha.